The morning started quiet enough. I had a short list on the kitchen table. Milk, bread, call the bank. The word bank was underlined twice. That wasn't an accident. I was 47, home on leave from the army after another deployment, and I wasn't about to let anyone rush me into signing something without reading it. That habit had saved me more than once overseas. At home, it was about to matter again. I was sipping black coffee when I heard a car pull up in the driveway earlier than expected. It was my sister Melissa. She never showed up this early unless she wanted something. I could already feel the shift in the air. Melissa came in with that fake cheerful voice she used when she wanted to bulldoze you without making it sound like she was bulldozing you. "Jess, you ready for a quick trip to the bank? Got everything all set for you." Behind her walked Tyler, her husband. He didn't bother with fake sweetness. He gave me a nod, the kind men give when they think they're in charge of a situation. I didn't like it. Tyler had always been pushy, but today he looked like he'd already decided how this morning was going to go. My stomach tightened. "Morning," I said, not moving from my chair. "What's the rush?" "No rush," Melissa said quickly, too quickly. "It's just some paperwork we'll get out of the way. You'll feel better once it's done." She was already looking around the kitchen like she owned the place. Her eyes went straight to my keys on the counter. Tyler grabbed them before I could. He twirled them in his hand, smiling like he was doing me a favor. "I'll drive. No sense in you worrying about traffic." That set off alarms in my head. I never let anyone else grab my keys, not at home, not anywhere. In the army, you learn that if you let someone take control of your ride, you've already lost half the fight. But I kept my voice even. "I'm fine to drive." He smirked. "Relax, Captain. Just trying to make your life easier." The way he said Captain wasn't respect. It was a jab. Like he was reminding me I wasn't on base anymore. I was in his little world now. Melissa jumped in before I could answer. "Jess, please, let him drive. You'll see it's routine. We'll be back before lunch." That phrase routine was already starting to grate on me. In the military, when someone said routine, I always assumed the opposite. Routine meant watch your back. And here it was again, in my own kitchen. I slipped on a jacket and made sure the small pen recorder was clipped where it looked like nothing special. I had picked it up on my last trip home, half out of habit. Now, I was glad I did. I tucked my wallet and ID into my purse, along with a plain envelope I'd prepared. Inside was a note written in block letters. 4 words, "Help, under duress." I didn't know if I'd need it, but I wasn't going to the bank blind. When we got outside, Tyler opened the car door for me, but not politely. He opened it in a way that said, "I'm controlling where you go next." I got in without a fuss. Sometimes you let the other side think they've got the upper hand. That's how you stay 3 steps ahead. Melissa slid into the back seat with a folder hugged tight to her chest. That folder looked heavy, not from the paper but from whatever scheme was stuffed inside it. The ride started with small talk. Tyler talked about the weather, a sale at the hardware store, and how banks make things harder than they need to. Melissa nodded along, chirping about how this paperwork would make life so much easier for me. I sat in silence, watching the road signs go by, counting the turns. In combat, you learn terrain awareness. At home, you still use it. I noted every corner we took, every landmark, every route they chose. If something went south, I wasn't about to be confused about where I was. Melissa leaned forward and tapped my shoulder with her finger, too sweet on the surface. "Jess, this will really reduce your stress. You'll just sign, and we'll handle the rest. 1 signature, and you can forget about bills." She said it like she was offering me a vacation. I didn't buy it for a second. At the next red light, she opened the folder just enough so I could see the top page. Big black letters stared at me. Power of attorney. She angled it toward me like I was too slow to get it. My pulse kicked up, but my face didn't show it. I just tapped the folder closed with 1 finger. "I'll read it at the bank," I said evenly. Tyler's jaw flexed. Melissa's smile froze for half a second before she pasted it back on. The car smelled like Tyler had sprayed something strong to cover up old fast food grease. I cracked the window just a little. I needed fresh air. I thought back to when Melissa and I were kids, when she'd boss me around just because she was older by 3 years. Back then, it was small stuff who got the front seat, who held the remote. Now it was about my house, my savings, my future. Same playbook, bigger stakes. I counted my breathing the way I used to before patrols. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Slow, steady, no panic. That was the difference between walking into a trap and walking out of one. Melissa kept chattering about how everything was for my own good. Tyler kept driving like he owned the road. I sat quiet, watching, waiting. The bank came into view around the corner. The Riverdale Community Bank, small-town branch with its clean windows and potted plants out front. I'd been there dozens of times. Today it felt different. Tyler parked right up front, like he was making sure there was no easy exit. He hopped out and opened my door again. "Careful," he said, as if I was about to fall. I didn't need his help. I stepped out steady, standing tall, shoulders back. I wasn't in uniform, but the stance was still there. You don't forget how to carry yourself after 20+ years in service. Melissa adjusted her blazer and tucked the folder tighter under her arm. "This won't take long," she said too brightly. The sun caught her face, and I could see the tightness around her mouth, the strain under the smile. She was nervous. That told me everything I needed to know. If she believed this was just routine, she wouldn't be nervous. She knew she was pushing her luck. We walked toward the glass doors, Tyler a step ahead like he was leading the charge. Melissa stayed close at my side, a little too close. I could smell her perfume, sharp and sugary, cloying in the morning air. I kept my pace even. My hand brushed my purse just once, confirming the envelope was still there. The 4 words inside were my safety line if things went sideways. The lobby was cool, with a faint smell of coffee drifting from somewhere in the back. Customers stood in a short line. The teller at the counter glanced up Angela Ruiz, young, sharp, someone who actually paid attention. Her eyes landed on the faint bruise on my forearm, a mark from Tyler's grip the day before when we'd argued about mail. She didn't say anything, but I saw the change in her expression. She looked at me, then at Melissa, pressed against my side, then at Tyler walking too close. The polite smile on her face tightened just a hair. "Good morning," Angela said. Melissa smiled big and fake. Tyler's hand pressed against my elbow, steering me toward the seating area. He put a pen in my hand like it was already decided. "We'll fill it out. You just sign," he whispered low, too close to my ear. His voice had weight in it, the kind that says, "Don't argue." I kept my eyes forward, my face neutral. Inside, every sensor in me was lit. This wasn't just family drama anymore. It was a tactical situation, and I wasn't about to lose it. Tyler's hand pressed harder on my elbow as we moved toward the row of chairs near the window. The pen he shoved into my hand was cheap plastic, the kind banks hand out with their logos, but the weight of it told me what he expected me to do. My sister sat down on one side of me. Tyler dropped into the chair on the other, and I was boxed in before I had a chance to breathe. He leaned forward, dropping the folder on the low table in front of me. Melissa smoothed it out with her palm like it was something precious. She didn't even let me touch it before she flipped it open to a page halfway through. Her finger landed on a blank line. "You just sign right here, Jess," she said sweetly. "One line and we're done." I glanced down at the page, and there it was again in bold. Power of attorney. The letters seemed bigger the second time I saw them, like they wanted to jump off the paper and smack me across the face. I set the pen down on the table, not saying a word. Tyler gave a little laugh that had no humor in it. "Come on," he said, keeping his voice low. "Don't make a scene, it's just routine paperwork. Everybody does this sooner or later. You trust family, don't you?" Family. That word landed like a bad taste in my mouth. I thought about all the times I'd pulled Melissa out of messes when we were younger. Fights with our parents, money she blew through too fast. Even that time she called me from a county jail in her 20s because she'd been caught shoplifting makeup. Family then meant I'd covered for her. Family now meant she thought she had the right to strip me of everything I had earned. Melissa's hand slid across the table and touched my wrist. Her nails dug in just a little, not enough for anyone across the room to see, but enough for me to feel the warning. "Jess, please," she whispered. "This will take the stress off you. We'll take care of things. You don't need to worry anymore." I looked at her hand on my wrist, then up at her face. Her smile was tight, her eyes sharp. That wasn't comfort. That was a threat wrapped in sugar. I pulled my hand back slowly and placed both of mine on my lap. No words. Just refusal. Tyler straightened and waved toward the teller counter. "Let's see a banker," he called. "We've got documents to review." His voice carried across the lobby, sharper than before. The young teller Angela glanced at us, then looked toward the back. A door clicked open, and a woman in a navy jacket stepped out. She had her badge clipped at her waist, and her hair pulled back neat. Donna Whitaker, the branch manager. I'd met her once before when I set up my checking account. She remembered faces. I could tell by the way her eyes landed on mine. "Good morning," she said warmly. "What can we help you with today, Miss Wardell?" Melissa jumped in before I could speak. "Just routine documents, nothing complicated," she said, with a chirpy voice that didn't match the tension at our table. "It'll only take a minute." Donna's gaze flicked from Melissa's folder to Tyler's knee bouncing fast, then to the way my shoulders stayed a little too stiff. She didn't rush. "Why don't we move to a private office?" she suggested calmly. "That way we can review everything without distraction." Tyler started to object. "We don't need—" "It's no trouble," Donna interrupted smoothly. "It's our standard process. We like to make sure customers have privacy." She gestured toward the hallway. Her tone left no room for argument, but it didn't sound aggressive. It sounded professional. Melissa grabbed the folder, stood, and shot me a look that said, "Don't screw this up." I rose slowly, keeping my bag close. As we walked, I caught Angela's eyes at the counter. Just for a moment. Long enough that she seemed to read something in my face. She picked up the phone by her elbow and dialed with quiet fingers. The office Donna led us to was small but clean. Glass wall, door that closed with a light click, a table with 3 chairs. A white noise machine hummed faintly in the corner, the kind that makes sure no one in the hallway can overhear. A small security camera blinked near the ceiling. Donna gestured toward the chairs. "Please, make yourselves comfortable." I chose the seat facing the hallway, where I could see anyone coming and going. Tyler dropped into the chair across from me, legs spread wide, trying to take up space. Melissa sat close on my right side again, pressing in until her shoulder almost touched mine. She opened the folder wide, tapped a page with her manicured finger, and said, "Just sign here. Don't overthink it. It'll go quick." Donna sat at the edge of the table, folding her hands. "Before we begin, I'll need to make copies of your IDs and scan these forms into our system. That way everything's on record." She looked at me directly. "Miss Wardell, may I see your ID?" I reached into my purse. My wallet was there, my ID inside. I also felt the envelope, the one with the 4 words written in block letters. I took out my ID and placed it on top of a deposit slip, sliding them across the table. My hand brushed the envelope but didn't pull it out yet. Timing mattered. Tyler pushed the pen closer to me, his smile tight now. "Go ahead, Jess. Just sign. We've got plans today." Melissa's hand landed on my elbow, fingers squeezing just hard enough to blanch the skin. "Don't make it hard," she murmured. I turned my head and looked straight at my sister. I didn't look away. In my mind, I saw her as a kid bossing me around, saw her at our parents' funeral acting like she was in charge of the family, saw her now with that same hunger in her eyes. The difference was, this time I wasn't giving in. "I will read first," I said, steady and calm. Melissa's mouth twitched. Tyler gave a single laugh, sharp and short. "It's all standard," he said. "We already explained it. No need to waste time." I set the pen back on the table. Then I reached into my purse again, fingers closing around the envelope. Smooth motion. No hesitation. I drew it out and slid it beneath the deposit slip with my ID, pushing them toward Donna. "Here are my documents," I said clearly. Donna's eyes met mine for just a second longer than normal. She gave the faintest nod, almost invisible, then picked up the stack with steady hands. "I'll make copies," she said lightly, like everything was normal. She stood, walked to the copier outside, and shut the office door behind her. Melissa leaned close to me again, whispering sharp in my ear, "Don't try anything, Jess. You'll regret it." I didn't answer. My hands stayed flat on the table, steady as stone. Tyler's knee bounced faster. Melissa's perfume filled the air, and the hum of the white noise machine covered the silence. Donna's footsteps faded down the hall, and the hum of the copier started up in the background. I sat still, hands resting on the table, breathing slow and even. Melissa shifted next to me, her leg bouncing against the chair, her perfume sharp enough to sting my nose. Tyler leaned back with his arms crossed, eyes darting between the glass wall and me, like he was trying to figure out if I'd break under pressure. What neither of them understood was that pressure was my natural environment. I'd spent half my life under it: hot zones, split-second calls, bad intel, sudden ambushes. This little room with their fake smiles and cheap intimidation tactics wasn't anything new. Different setting, same playbook. My fingers brushed my bag again, making sure the zipper was still shut over the recorder tucked inside. The little red light hidden near the clip glowed faint. Everything they said was already being logged. They hadn't noticed it yet, and I didn't plan to point it out until the right moment. Timing was everything. Melissa leaned in, whispering through clenched teeth. "Stop being difficult. It's one line, and we'll be finished." I didn't flinch. I stared at the table, counting the seconds in my head. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4. It was the same breathing drill I used in the field before clearing a building. Keep the mind steady. Keep the hands steady. Tyler broke the silence. "You know what's funny? You trusted me enough to let me drive your car here, but you can't trust us to handle a little paperwork?" His smile was stretched thin, his jaw too tight. "Come on, Jess. You've been gone half your life playing soldier. Let someone else take care of things for once." I turned my head and looked at him. Taking care of things doesn't start with a lie. That shut him up for a beat. His eyes narrowed, but Melissa grabbed his hand under the table to keep him from snapping. She knew losing his temper would ruin their pitch. The copier hummed again down the hall, then went quiet. I knew Donna would have seen the note by now. Whether she was already on the phone or just pocketing it for the right moment, I couldn't tell, but I trusted her enough to play her part. She didn't strike me as someone who looked away when something didn't add up. Melissa tapped the page again, harder this time. "Look, we're not leaving until this is signed. The longer you stall, the harder you make it. Do you want people out there to start staring? You want to embarrass yourself?" I looked at her finger on the paper. "You think embarrassment is my concern right now?" Her nostrils flared, but before she could shoot back, the door opened and Donna walked in carrying a plastic sleeve. She set it down on the table. "Here we are," she said lightly. "Copies for our file, copies for you." She handed me my ID back with one slip of paper tucked underneath. I took it without a blink. The envelope was back in the stack, right where I'd left it. Donna hadn't exposed anything yet. Smart move. She poured 2 small paper cups of water from a tray she carried in with her. "Here you go," she said, setting one in front of me, the other near Tyler. Tyler didn't touch his. I picked mine up and drank slow, eyes on Donna. Her calm was deliberate, and I could read the signals the way I used to read terrain maps. Something was in motion, even if Melissa and Tyler hadn't figured it out yet. Donna placed a small recorder on the table, clicking the red button. A light blinked on. "We record reviews for accuracy, protects everyone." "Do I have your consent?" she asked, looking at me first. "Yes," I said flat. Melissa's smile slipped. "Is that necessary?" "It's standard," Donna replied smoothly. Tyler muttered under his breath, but he nodded. Melissa followed. Donna opened the folder to the page Melissa had been tapping. She looked at me directly. "Miss Wardell, in your own words, can you tell me what these forms would do if you signed them?" I kept my voice even. "They give my sister and her husband control of my accounts, my house, and my decisions without me." Melissa's smile snapped off her face. "That's not true." Donna held up her hand. "You'll have a chance to explain in a moment. I need Miss Wardell's answer first." Tyler leaned forward, veins standing out in his neck. "She doesn't understand the paperwork. That's why we're here." I met his eyes. "I understand it better than you think." Donna didn't react, but I saw the tiny shift in her jaw that said she had already clocked everything. She flipped the page, scanning the notary stamp. Her brow barely moved, but I caught it. Something was off. She didn't comment. "Not yet." Melissa cleared her throat, trying to steer things back. "Jess, you're tired. You shouldn't have to handle bills and phone calls. This is for your own good." "For my own good," I repeated. My voice was dry. "Right." The hum of the white noise machine filled the gap again. Tyler bounced his leg harder, shaking the table. Melissa fiddled with the edge of the folder, fingers tapping like a nervous tick. I thought about Afghanistan, about a briefing where we'd been told to expect a calm morning patrol. Routine, the CO had called it. 15 minutes later, our convoy got ambushed. Ever since then, I'd never trusted the word routine. And here was my sister, using it like it was a promise. Donna finally set her pen down and looked at us as a group. Before we move forward, I'll need to verify the notary commission. Our policy requires it. That'll take a few minutes. Tyler scoffed. Seriously? That's ridiculous. We brought everything we need. Just let her sign. Melissa's voice sharpened. Jess, tell her it's fine. Tell her we don't need to waste time. I folded my hands on the table. Steady, calm. She's following policy. Donna gave me the faintest nod, almost invisible. Tyler muttered again, too low for Donna to hear, but not low enough for me to miss it. Don't make this messy. The recorder clipped inside my bag caught every word. I breathed in, slow, steady, and set my shoulders back. No panic, no weakness, just patience. The door latch clicked faintly out in the hall. Someone else had arrived. Melissa didn't notice. Tyler didn't notice. But I did. The faint click outside the office barely registered with Melissa, but I heard it the way I'd hear a rifle safety being switched off. Years in uniform train your ears to pick out what matters. I didn't move, but I knew something had shifted in the hallway. Donna kept her calm expression, though I caught the way her hand slid casually over the recorder, pressing the button again to be sure it was still running. Angela walked by in the hallway with a folder in her hand, pretending to sort paperwork. Her glance through the glass wall lasted less than a second, but it landed squarely on me. She saw the way Melissa's arm pressed too tight against mine, saw Tyler leaning forward with that fake casual posture, and she didn't look away like most people would. She gave me one quick blink, like a signal, then kept walking. Tyler leaned across the table, lowering his voice. Jess, don't drag this out. We've got things to do after this, and you don't want to waste everyone's time. Just sign, and we can all move on. Melissa added her weight with a smile too bright. Think about it, Jess. You're always so busy. This makes life simple. You know I'd never let anything bad happen to you. I turned my head slowly to face her. You're hurting me right now. Her smile faltered. Her hand loosened on my arm, but she didn't pull it away completely. Tyler shot her a quick look, and I saw it, the little crack in their teamwork. He wanted speed. She wanted to keep the mask on, and their strategies didn't line up. Donna cleared her throat lightly, not rushing. Miss Wardell, before any signatures, I'll need to confirm account details directly with you. Standard policy. She placed extra weight on those two words, letting me know she was building a wall for me to stand behind. Melissa tried to cut in. She has trouble keeping track of. I'll ask Miss Wardell directly, Donna said, still calm. We'll handle the details one at a time. Tyler leaned back, his jaw tight. This is ridiculous. Donna didn't answer him. She looked straight at me. Miss Wardell, how long have you been a customer with us? 10 years, I said evenly. And how do you normally pay your bills? Checks, I said. 1st and 15th of every month. Donna nodded, jotting notes like it was all routine. But her eyes flicked to Angela, who had stopped at her desk outside. That small look was a message passed without words. Angela's fingers went to her keyboard, and I knew she was hitting the alert system, the kind every bank teller gets trained to use but rarely has to press. Melissa must have felt the tension rising, because she leaned closer and whispered hard into my ear. Don't try to be a hero, Jess. This isn't the army. You don't get medals here. I didn't whisper back. I said it out loud, voice clear enough for Donna to hear. Good thing I'm not doing this for a medal. That. Melissa jerked her head back like I'd slapped her. Tyler shifted in his chair, restless, his leg bouncing like a jackhammer. Donna kept her tone smooth. Why don't I make a few calls to confirm the documents with our legal team? In the meantime, Miss Wardell, is there someone you trust we could add as a point of contact on your account, just in case? Yes, I said. My brother Jonathan. Melissa snapped, That's not necessary. Donna gave her a polite smile that didn't touch her eyes. It's part of our know your customer process. I could see Tyler's patience thinning by the second. He leaned forward again, voice dropping into a growl. Jess, don't stall. Sign the papers, now. The recorder in my purse caught every syllable. Donna heard it too, but she didn't react. She slid the papers back toward herself like she was reviewing them again, but I knew she was buying time. Angela reappeared at the doorway with 2 cups of water balanced on a tray. "Thought you might need these," she said casually. Her eyes flicked at me just once. She set the cups down and left as quietly as she came. Tyler shoved 1 cup toward me like it was proof he was being polite. "Drink, relax, then sign." I picked it up, took a sip, and set it back down. My hands didn't shake. I wanted him to see that. Melissa let out a sharp sigh. "Jess, I'm begging you, don't make this ugly. It's family. We're looking out for you. Do you think strangers will care what happens to you? Do you think the army will? We're your family." I turned my head and met her eyes full on. "Family doesn't threaten me. Family doesn't shove a pen into my hand. Whatever this is, it isn't family." Her face went pale under the layers of makeup. Tyler looked ready to explode, but Donna spoke first, voice steady. "All right. We'll pause here. I'll step out to verify these documents. She gathered the folder neatly, stood, and gave Angela another subtle glance. Angela's hand moved under her desk. The guard near the front door shifted his weight. The latch on the main entrance clicked softly, switching to controlled entry. Customers could still leave, but no one new would be allowed in. Melissa caught on just enough to panic. "Why are you locking doors? What is this?" Donna smiled politely. "Just standard security. Protects all our clients." Tyler muttered something I didn't catch, his face tightening, but he didn't make a move. Melissa pressed her hands flat on the table, trying to hold her composure. I sat steady, eyes on the hallway, breath calm, shoulders squared. My pulse was slow, not racing. If this was a mission, it was right on track. The hum of the white noise machine filled the room again. The camera above us blinked steadily, and the only sound from Tyler was the nervous tap of his finger against the table. Donna didn't let Melissa's panic push her off course. She carried the folder like it was routine and stepped toward the copier again. The air in the office had shifted. Tyler's jaw worked side to side, his knee bouncing fast enough to shake the table. Melissa sat stiff, clutching her purse like it might keep her plan from slipping away. The guard near the door of the branch adjusted his stance, eyes scanning the lobby with the calm of someone who knew exactly what he was looking at. Customers were still moving through their transactions, unaware that anything was happening behind the glass wall. That was the genius of Donna's calm. She'd made a dangerous situation look like another Tuesday morning. She came back into the room, set the folder down, and smoothed the pages. "Thank you for your patience," she said evenly. Her voice was steady, professional, but her eyes stayed locked on me for half a second longer than normal. It was a signal I understood. I wasn't alone in this room anymore. Melissa tried to regain her ground with a forced laugh. "See? All fine. Can we move on now?" Donna smiled, not giving an inch. She reached down to the small white noise machine in the corner and clicked the dial a notch higher. The hum grew, soft but noticeable. Tyler frowned. "What's that for?" "Privacy," Donna answered simply. She placed the recorder squarely on the table, pressing the red button. "We document reviews to protect all parties. It's standard." Melissa blinked hard. "That's not necessary. This is just a family matter." Donna didn't flinch. When documents involve control of accounts and property, it's no longer just family. It's business. And business is documented. I almost smiled. That was exactly what I needed, someone drawing a hard line without raising her voice. Tyler leaned forward, trying to take back control. "She already agreed to this. We talked it over. She knows what she's signing." Donna turned to me directly. "Miss Wardell, do you want to sign these forms?" Melissa jumped in before I could speak. "Of course she does. I asked Miss Wardell," Donna repeated, firmer now. I kept my voice even. "I haven't agreed to anything. I will read everything myself before I decide." Donna nodded. "That's the only correct answer." Melissa's smile cracked at the edges. Tyler exhaled through his nose like a bull about to charge. He didn't make a move, but his whole posture screamed impatience. Donna flipped to the first page of the packet, scanning the notary seal. Her brow twitched just enough for me to notice. She lifted her phone and dialed a short number. "This is Whitaker at Riverdale Community. I need verification on a notary commission number." Her tone was smooth, nothing dramatic. She gave the number, waited, and then said, "I'll hold." Melissa's hand shot out, fingers gripping the edge of the folder. "There's no need for that. It's all valid." Donna placed her hand gently on top of the page, pinning it down without force. We verify everything. Protects all of you as much as it protects the bank. Tyler muttered, "This is a waste of time." But Donna ignored him. While she waited, she asked, "Miss Wardell, do you have a trusted contact we should list on your account? Someone we can reach if we can't get you directly?" "Yes," I said. "My brother Jonathan." Melissa snapped. "That's not necessary. We're here. We're the ones helping." Donna didn't even glance her way. "Thank you, Miss Wardell," she said, jotting the name on a form. Her phone clicked, and she listened carefully, pen tapping once on the table. "I see. Thank you." She hung up, slid the phone aside, and calmly folded her hands. Melissa shifted in her seat. "Well?" Donna looked her straight in the eye. "The commission number you provided doesn't exist." The silence that followed was sharp. Tyler's mouth opened, then closed. Melissa's face flushed. She scrambled for words. Maybe it was a typo. That doesn't mean anything. Donna didn't raise her voice. "It means this document cannot be processed. At all." She turned to me. "Miss Wardell, do you have your own attorney?" "No," I said. "She doesn't need one," Melissa said quickly. "It's routine." Donna's eyes stayed on me. "I recommend you get one before signing anything. That's the safe approach." I nodded once. Tyler's hand slammed against the table. The sound made a couple of heads turn out in the lobby. He leaned in, teeth clenched. "You're dragging this out. Jess, sign the damn papers." The recorder blinked red, capturing every syllable. Donna didn't flinch. "Sir, keep your voice down. This is a bank, not your living room." Melissa grabbed his arm, hissing, "Stop it." Her smile snapped back into place as she turned to Donna. "I'm sorry, he's just worried about time. We've got other appointments today." Donna didn't return the smile. She pressed another button on the recorder, marking the timestamp. "I'll need to ask you both to step into the lobby shortly while I confirm further details with Miss Wardell. Policy requires I speak with the account holder alone." "No way," Tyler shot back. "She needs us to explain it. She gets confused." I spoke before Donna could. "I'm not confused." "I do. That froze him for half a second. Melissa's fingers dug into his sleeve, urging him to shut up. Donna stood, smoothing her jacket. "I'll be right back." She gathered a thin stack of papers and left the office again, calm as ever. The door clicked shut. Tyler immediately leaned across the table toward me. "You think you're smart? You think dragging this out is going to save you?" His voice was low, dangerous. Melissa whispered urgently, "Stop, Tyler. Not now." But he didn't stop. "Sign it, Jess, or you'll regret this." I stared at him without blinking. My shoulders stayed square, my hands flat on the table. The recorder clipped inside my purse, and the one on the desk glowed steady red. Every word he said was being captured. Melissa saw it too late. Her face drained of color, and she shifted her chair back slightly. The latch at the front of the bank clicked again. Controlled entry. The guard adjusted his stance. Customers in the lobby went on with their deposits and withdrawals, but the air had thickened, like the walls themselves were listening. Inside the office, the hum of the white noise machine grew louder against the silence. Melissa tapped her nails against the folder, Tyler clenched his fists, and I sat steady, breathing slow, waiting for the next move. Tyler's fists drummed against the table, each thud sharp enough to carry through the glass. Melissa whispered frantically, trying to reel him back in, but his face was tight with frustration. I kept my voice flat, calm, the way I used to in briefings where younger soldiers thought yelling would make them sound stronger. I said I'll read everything first. He shoved the pen closer, pressing it against my fingers. "Read it later. Just sign." Melissa chimed in, her tone sweet but brittle. "Jess, honey, don't make this so hard. We're just protecting you. Bills, taxes, all that stress, it's not good for you. One signature and it all goes away." I turned the pen in my hand, placed it gently on the table, and looked her straight in the eye. If this is protection, why does it feel like a threat? The recorder blinked red on the desk. Donna's placement of it wasn't an accident. Melissa stiffened, forcing a thin laugh. "You're being dramatic." She nudged the folder toward me again, her manicured nails tapping the space she wanted signed. "Just initials here, and here." I leaned closer, scanning the page. Bold letters glared back at me. Durable power of attorney. My name written, her name lined up next to it. This would give you complete control, I said evenly. Over everything I own. That's the point, Tyler snapped. We handle it for you. You don't have to worry anymore. I can worry just fine on my own, I said. Melissa's smile cracked. Jess, stop acting like we're stealing from you. We're family. Less. Family doesn't shove papers down my throat. Tyler slammed his palm flat again. Sign it. The hum of the white noise machine filled the silence that followed. Customers outside shifted, glancing toward the glass office. Angela stood at her station, eyes sharp, pretending to organize slips. The guard's hand rested lightly near his belt, not threatening but ready. I straightened in my chair, voice firm. I said I'll read it. Out loud. Melissa's eyes darted to Tyler, panic flashing for the first time. She tried to mask it with another brittle laugh. She's being stubborn, that's all. Always has been. Donna slipped back into the room at that moment, carrying a new folder. Apologies for the delay, she said smoothly. She sat down, set the papers on the table, and turned the recorder slightly so its red light glowed brighter. Before anything else, I need to verify a few points. Tyler growled, We've wasted enough time. Just let her sign. Donna met his glare without blinking. I said verify. She opened the folder, flipping slowly. Miss Wardell, can you explain in your own words what these forms do? I spoke clearly, my voice cutting through the tension. They give Melissa and Tyler control over my money, my house, and my decisions. They could move or sell everything without asking me. Melissa shot forward. That's not true. She's... Quiet, Donna said, still calm but edged with steel. Miss, Wardell is the account holder. She'll answer. Tyler's face flushed red, his jaw flexed. Donna slid another paper into view. This notary seal is invalid. Do you know who prepared these forms? Melissa stammered. A mobile notary. It's all standard. Donna didn't look up. Standard documents don't come with fake commission numbers, and no valid notary leaves a smudged seal like this. She tapped the corner of the page. This is forgery. The word hung in the air, like a gunshot. Melissa's hands froze on the folder. Tyler's knee stopped bouncing. Their silence was louder than their shouting. I felt the weight of my years in uniform settle into my chest. I'd faced worse pressure in interrogation rooms overseas, and the trick was always the same. Stay steady while the other side cracked. So, you wanted me to sign fraudulent papers, I said calmly. Melissa's voice came out strained. No, Jess, it's not like that. Then what is it? I asked. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. Tyler tried to recover, his tone dropping into something almost pleading. Jess, we're just trying to help. We can't keep driving down every week, checking on you, making sure you're okay. This would simplify everything. That's not help, I said. That's control. Donna wrote a note on her pad in neat, deliberate strokes. For the record, customer is under visible pressure from family members. Recommended welfare check. Melissa's head snapped up. Welfare check? That's absurd. We're her family. We're the ones who care. I turned to Donna. Family doesn't give me bruises. Melissa went white. Tyler froze, his eyes darting to my arm where faint marks still showed. The guard stepped a half-foot closer to the office door, still calm but now unmistakably on alert. Donna spoke evenly, as if nothing unusual had been said. We'll need to take a short pause while I escalate this to compliance. She stacked the papers neatly, stood, and gave Angela a signal with just a tilt of her head. Angela's hand slid under her desk again. Melissa leaned in close to me, whispering through clenched teeth. If you do this, Jess, you'll regret it. Don't you dare embarrass us. I turned my head just enough for the recorder to catch my words. Safe doesn't hurt. This hurts. Tula hissed. Shut up. Donna returned almost immediately, her calm like armor. Our legal team has confirmed these documents cannot be honored. Until further notice, your accounts are locked against changes. She sat, folded her hands, and looked squarely at me. Miss Wardell, do you want to proceed with signing anything today? No, I said. Melissa shot up in her chair. She doesn't know what she's saying. Tyler rose halfway out of his seat, fists clenched. The guard stepped into full view of the doorway now. His presence alone was enough to push Tyler back down, muttering curses under his breath. Donna didn't move a muscle. Then nothing will be signed. The white noise hummed louder, filling every crack of silence. Melissa's eyes darted, searching for a foothold that wasn't there. Tyler glared at me like I'd betrayed him in battle. I sat steady, my hands flat on the table, the recorder capturing every beat of their unraveling. Donna didn't flinch under Melissa's outburst. She reached for the folder again, flipping through the pages with calm precision, her eyes scanning each line. "These aren't standard forms," she said finally. "The formatting is inconsistent, the language is off, and the seal is not only smudged, it's copied from an online template. That's fraud." Melissa sputtered, her voice going high and thin. "You can't prove that. Anyone could make a mistake with a stamp." Donna slid the page across the table so it faced me. "Look here," she said, tapping the corner. "Real notary stamps always include a commission expiration date. This one doesn't. It's a copy and paste job." I studied it carefully. Years of military reports had trained me to catch small details, the wrong date, a misplaced signature, a line that didn't add up. She was right. The spacing was uneven, the ink too uniform. It wasn't just sloppy, it was fake. Tyler tried to cut in with his usual aggression. "This is ridiculous. Are you even qualified to say what's real and what isn't? You're just a branch manager." Donna didn't blink. "Our compliance team has already confirmed it. Forgery. And forgery tied to financial exploitation is a felony." The word hit like a grenade. Melissa's face drained of color. Tyler leaned back in his chair, his bravado slipping. For a split second, I saw what he really was. Cornered, exposed, scrambling for ground. Donna turned to me directly. "Miss Wardell, do you understand that if you had signed these, you would have legally surrendered all control of your home, your savings, and your retirement benefits?" I kept my voice steady. "Yes, I understand," she nodded. "And do you want to grant that authority to your sister and her husband?" "No," I said. Melissa's chair screeched against the floor as she lurched forward. "Jess, don't do this. We're your family. You can't just hand everything to strangers. What about loyalty? What about blood?" I looked at her without blinking. "Blood doesn't give you the right to rob me." The guard shifted his stance outside the door, close enough now that everyone noticed. Angela stood behind her counter, her hand near the phone, eyes fixed on Donna for the next cue. Donna spoke again, her tone even but unshakable. "For the record, the account holder has declined to sign. The documents presented show multiple red flags of fraud. This matter is being escalated." Tyler slammed his palm on the table again. But this time it wasn't anger. It was desperation. "You don't get it. We needed this. We had plans. We can't just walk out with nothing." Melissa hissed at him. "Shut up." But it was too late. His words were on the recorder, logged forever. Donna leaned back slightly, folding her hands. "Tell me, Mr. Grant, what plans exactly?" He froze, eyes darting between her and me. "It's none of your business." End quote. "It became my business the second you walked into my branch with fraudulent papers," she replied. Melissa tried to soften the moment with a shaky laugh. "Look, maybe the notary made a mistake. Maybe something got mixed up. We'll fix it later." Donna shook her head. "That's not how the law works." She tapped the recorder. "We have a full audio record. Combined with the note Miss Wardell slipped to me earlier, we have clear evidence of undue influence." Melissa whipped her head toward me, eyes wide with betrayal. You gave her a note?" I didn't move. "Yes." Tyler's fists clenched. He muttered something under his breath that sounded like a threat, but Donna cut him off. "Be very careful what you say right now. Everything is being recorded. Every word, every gesture, every mark on Miss Wardell's arm." Melissa's gaze dropped to the faint bruise I hadn't bothered to hide. She swallowed hard, realizing how damning it looked. Donna rose smoothly, gathering the papers. "These documents are invalid. They will not be processed. Miss Wardell retains full control of her assets." She turned to Angela, who slipped quietly into the room with a new folder in hand. Donna took it, slid a clean form in front of me, and explained, "This is a trusted contact authorization. It simply allows us to call someone you name if we suspect you're under pressure again. No authority, no power of attorney, just a safety line." Would you like to add your brother Jonathan? Yes, I said. Melissa slammed her hand against the table. No, she doesn't need Jonathan. Donna ignored her completely, her focus only on me. Miss Wardell, do you confirm you want Jonathan Wardell as your trusted contact? Yes, I repeated. Angela jotted the details quickly, her pen moving with the precision of someone who knew how important it was. She slid the page toward me, and I signed it in neat block letters. My signature felt steady, controlled, deliberate, the opposite of the scribbled panic Melissa and Tyler had been pushing for. Donna placed the signed page into her folder and gave me the faintest nod. A soldier would have recognized it instantly, the signal that the perimeter was secured. Melissa slumped back, defeated for the first time. Tyler muttered curses under his breath, his bravado collapsing. The fight in them wasn't gone, but it was rattled. Donna didn't gloat. She didn't need to. She simply stated the facts. This branch will place a hold on all account changes pending a full legal review. Our legal team has already flagged the documents you brought. Law enforcement will be contacted as required under elder financial abuse protocols. Melissa looked like she'd been slapped. You can't call the police. This is family business. Donna's voice was calm steel. Family business ends, the second fraud begins. 0. The guard shifted again, his hand resting more firmly near his belt. Angela's eyes flicked toward the front door, which was now firmly latched. Customers came and went in the background, unaware that inside this office, a family's mask had cracked wide open. Melissa whispered, almost to herself. She set us up. I answered evenly. No, you set yourselves up. Tyler's hands clenched tighter, but he didn't speak again. The walls of the office seemed to press in around them. Donna sat back, folding her hands neatly. Miss Wardell, you did exactly the right thing. You stayed calm, you used the tools you had, and now you're safe. The white noise machine hummed on, steady as ever, while the silence between Melissa and Tyler stretched into something heavy. The illusion of control they had walked in with was gone. The low murmur of the branch went quiet for a moment when the front door opened. 2 uniformed officers stepped inside, moving with the steady confidence of people used to walking into uncertain situations. The guard near the entrance gave them a subtle nod, then locked the latch again. Customers glanced up, then quickly returned to their transactions, pretending not to notice but listening with both ears. Donna rose smoothly and opened the office door just enough for her voice to carry. In here, officers. Melissa's face went pale. Tyler straightened in his chair, his shoulders squared like he wanted to project control, but his tapping fingers betrayed him. The first officer was tall, with calm eyes and a notepad already in hand. I'm Officer Ramirez. This is Officer Dana Lee. We were called regarding possible financial exploitation in progress. Donna gestured toward the table. Thank you for coming. The situation is documented. We have video, audio, and the documents themselves. I met her. Ramirez nodded once and stepped into the room. His partner followed, scanning everything with sharp eyes, the folder, the recorder, the bruises on my arm. She didn't miss a detail. Melissa tried to stand, smiling too brightly. Oh, this is a misunderstanding. We're family. We're just here helping Jessica with her accounts. Officer Lee's gaze didn't shift from my arm. Ma'am, how did you get that bruise? Melissa's smile twitched. She bruises easily. She bumped a chair. End quote. I said it clearly. She squeezed me. The silence after that was louder than any argument. Tyler looked away, his jaw tight. Melissa sat down hard, her face stiff. Ramirez pulled out a small camera. Miss Wardell, with your permission, I'd like to photograph the injury. Go ahead. He leaned in, snapped a clear close-up, then jotted the time and date. He glanced at the recorder on the desk. This device running? Yes, Donna answered. Good, Ramirez said. He set his notepad down and folded his hands. Miss Wardell, do you feel pressured to sign documents today that you don't want to sign? Yes. And who is pressuring you? My sister Melissa and her husband Tyler. Ramirez nodded calmly, no surprise in his face. And do you understand what those documents would have done if you'd signed them? Yes. They would have given them full control of my money and property. Do you feel safe with them at your home? No. 1. Melissa jumped in, her voice cracking. That's not true. She's confused. She's been forgetful for months and we've been stepping in so she doesn't get taken advantage of by strangers. We're protecting her. Ramirez didn't even look at her. He turned to Donna. Manager Whitaker, what steps has the bank taken? Donna's voice was steady. I initiated an in-branch hold, contacted compliance, and confirmed the notary stamp was invalid. I also received a written note from Miss Wardell indicating she was under duress. We've preserved all evidence and locked account access against changes. Ramirez wrote quickly. Officer Lee shifted to stand directly behind Melissa and Tyler, her presence firm but not aggressive. Tyler noticed, his shoulders tensing. I reached into my purse, pulled out the small tie pin I'd clipped earlier, and placed it on the table. This records too. Everything they said in the car. Everything they said in here. Under 6. Ramirez's eyebrows lifted just slightly. He picked it up carefully. We'll need to review this. Thank you. Tyler snapped. You can't just take that. That's private. Ramirez's tone didn't change. Sir, evidence of potential exploitation is not private. It's required. Melissa leaned forward, her voice shrill. She's setting us up. She's making us look like criminals. We're her family. I looked at her flatly. Family doesn't corner me into signing fake papers. And Ting. Officer Lee jotted notes, then asked, who provided these documents? Melissa's words tumbled out too fast. A notary named Rick. He's legitimate. He's helped other families. Donna cut in, her voice crisp. Compliance confirmed no such commission number exists. This Rick isn't in state records. Ramirez scribbled it down. Forgery then. Tyler's head snapped toward Melissa. I told you this was a bad idea. Her face twisted. You were the one who said it would work. Re-1. Their voices overlapped, rising until Donna raised a hand. Enough. This is a professional environment. The tension in the room tightened like a wire. Outside the office, customers pretended to focus on their receipts, but every ear was tuned in. Angela stood ready behind her counter. Posture calm, but eyes sharp. The guard shifted a fraction closer to the door. Ramirez waited for the noise to settle, then spoke. Here's what's going to happen. We'll take statements from each of you separately. Miss Wardell will remain here with Manager Whitaker. Mr. and Mrs. Grant, you'll step into the lobby with Officer Lee. Melissa's voice cracked. You can't separate us. Lee's voice was calm but final. That wasn't a request. Tyler stood slowly, his jaw tight, his glare fixed on me. He bent down just close enough that only I could hear. Don't make this messy. You'll regret it. The recorder on the desk captured it anyway. Donna's eyes narrowed, but she stayed still. Ramirez nodded to Lee, and she guided them out into the lobby. The door shut behind them, leaving the hum of the white noise machine and the steady blinking of the camera. The air felt lighter immediately. Ramirez pulled his chair closer to me. Miss Wardell, you've been very clear. You did the right thing coming forward. This will be taken seriously. Donna leaned in, her tone soft but firm. You're safe now, Jessica. They can't force anything in here. I exhaled slowly, steady but relieved. Good, because I'm not letting them take one more thing from me. Out in the lobby, I could hear Melissa's voice climbing again, shrill and desperate. Tyler's deeper growl overlapped hers. Officer Lee kept her tone even, her presence holding them in place. The guard stayed close, watching every twitch. Ramirez jotted his last notes and clicked his pen closed. We'll process this formally. Charges will depend on what's in the recordings and documents, but it's clear there was intent. He gave me a card. If they contact you, call immediately. Don't answer the door for them. Officers will follow up. Donna nodded. We'll also flag all her accounts for enhanced monitoring. I took the card, my hand steady. Thank you. Ramirez gave me a nod of respect, the kind soldiers exchange when words aren't needed. Then he stood, heading toward the door to rejoin his partner in the lobby. The office felt larger now, but not empty. The hum of the machine, the glow of the recorder, Donna's quiet strength across the table, it all held the space until the next words were spoken. Melissa's voice cut through the lobby before Ramirez even stepped out of the office. This is harassment. We came here to help her, and now you're treating us like criminals. Officer Lee stood calm, her notepad open. You'll each have a chance to speak, one at a time. Mr. Grant, you first. Now. Tyler crossed his arms, glaring. I don't need to explain myself. This is family. She's blowing things out of proportion. Ramirez joined them. his tone steady but edged with authority. Sir, we've documented evidence of fraudulent documents, visible pressure, and physical marks on Miss Wardell. That's not a family misunderstanding. That's a criminal investigation. Melissa snapped. You don't understand. Jessica has been slipping. She forgets things. She's not capable of managing on her own. We had to step in. Ramirez's pen scratched across his notebook. Do you have medical documentation of her being incapable? Melissa faltered. No, but... Then she remains fully competent in the eyes of the law, Ramirez said. Tyler leaned forward, his voice low and sharp. She's lying to you. She's been confused for months. She leaves bills unpaid. She misplaces things. Ask anyone. Ramirez tilted his head slightly. Funny. She told us she pays her bills on the 1st and 15th of every month. Does that sound confused to you? Tyler opened his mouth, then shut it. His eyes slid to the side, avoiding contact. Melissa tried to patch over the silence. She's embarrassed. Of course she's not going to admit to struggling. That's why we're here. Lee's voice was flat. Struggling doesn't explain forged documents. Melissa's face tightened, her words tumbling out too fast. It was a mistake. We used the wrong notary. It doesn't mean we were trying to hurt her. Ramirez held up a hand. Stop. I've heard enough for now. He turned back toward the office. Let's confirm a few things directly with Miss Wardell again. The officers stepped back inside, closing the door firmly behind them. Melissa and Tyler stayed in the lobby under the watchful eyes of the guard, both looking cornered. Ramirez sat across from me again. Miss Wardell, I'm going to ask a few more direct questions. Answer only what you want. I nodded. Did your sister and her husband pressure you before arriving here today? Yes. In the car they told me not to cause a scene. Tyler said to just sign and move on. Ramirez noted it carefully. Did either of them physically force you? Melissa grabbed my arm. Tyler shoved the pen into my hand. Donna shifted slightly in her seat, her eyes flicking toward the recorder on the desk. Ramirez followed her gaze and nodded. We'll review the audio. That will back you up. Action 1. He leaned back, his voice steady but firm. For the record, you are not obligated to sign anything today. You retain full legal control of your finances and property. Do you understand? Yes. And do you feel safe returning home if they have access to it? No, I said. Not with them holding keys. Donna added quietly. Her brother Jonathan is co-trustee on her living trust. I've confirmed those documents are valid. Ramirez's eyebrows lifted slightly. That changes a lot. Even if she had signed today, the trust would have blocked it. I allowed myself the smallest nod. Weeks of preparation, late-night reading of legal forms, long calls with Jonathan, it had all paid off in this moment. Ramirez clicked his pen closed. Thank you, Miss Wardell. You've been clear. The door opened again, and Officer Lee guided Melissa back inside. Your turn. Melissa sank into the chair, trying for composure. Look, we were only trying to protect her. She's always been stubborn. We didn't want her to get taken advantage of by strangers. Donna kept her face neutral, but I could see her jaw tighten. Ramirez asked, Then why bring forged documents? Melissa stammered. We didn't know they were forged. We trusted the notary. Lee's pen scratched across her page. Name of the notary? Rick. Something. We don't have his card. Donna slid a wrinkled business card across the table. This is what they gave me earlier. Lee picked it up, squinting. No last name. Just a first and a number typed crooked. This isn't valid. Melissa tried to laugh it off, but it came out brittle. Well, maybe he wasn't official. We just didn't know. Ramirez's voice cut sharp. Ignorance isn't a defense. Melissa's mask slipped, her voice trembling now. Fine. Maybe it wasn't official, but we weren't trying to steal from her. We just wanted to make things easier. I spoke for the first time. Easier for you. Not me. Melissa turned, her eyes wide, glassy. Jess, please, don't do this. We're family. You know me. You know I wouldn't hurt you. I met her gaze, unflinching. You already did. The silence that followed was heavy. Melissa's breath hitched, her words drying up. Ramirez nodded once. That's all I need for now. He motioned toward the door, and the guard stepped closer. Melissa rose slowly, her shoulders slumped, her eyes burning holes through the carpet as she was escorted back into the lobby. Tyler was brought in next. He dropped into the chair with forced confidence, leaning back like none of this fazed him. Ramirez didn't waste time. "Mr. Grant, did you threaten Miss Wardell today?" "No," Tyler said flatly. Ramirez tapped the recorder on the desk. "Then how do you explain the audio of you saying, 'Sign it, Jess, or you'll regret this'?" For once, Tyler had no quick answer. His mouth opened, then closed again. His face flushed red. "That's not a request," Ramirez said. "That's a threat." "This." Tyler shifted, his bravado slipping. "I was frustrated. People say things they don't mean. People under investigation should choose their words more carefully," Ramirez replied. The room went still again. The hum of the white noise machine was the only sound, steady and relentless. I sat upright, my breathing even, every inch of me steady. Tyler's glare cut toward me, but I didn't look away. Years in uniform had taught me that silence can be more powerful than any shout. Ramirez finally closed his notebook. "We're done here." He turned to Donna. "We'll need copies of everything. Documents, recordings, security footage." "Already prepared," she said, sliding a neat stack across the table. Lee opened the door, signaling to the guard. Melissa and Tyler were kept in sight, both now visibly rattled. Customers in the lobby avoided looking at them directly, but the air was thick with quiet judgment. Ramirez gathered the files, Donna's notes, and the recorders. He gave me a steady look. "You've handled this better than most. We'll move forward with charges." I sat straighter, letting the words sink in. This wasn't just a family fight anymore. It was evidence, law, consequences. The office door stayed open, the hum of the bank wrapping around us as the confrontation settled into something heavier than shouting ever could. The sound of boots moving quickly across the lobby floor made me glance toward the glass wall. A tall man in a worn jacket pushed through the door, with the guard trailing close behind. His chest rose and fell like he'd run all the way there. "I'm Jonathan Wardell," he said firmly. "Jessica's brother." I got the call. For the first time all day, my shoulders eased. "John," I breathed, standing before I realized it. He crossed the space in 2 strides, gripping my hands like he wasn't sure if I was steady. "Are you okay?" "I am now." Melissa's head whipped around, eyes wide. "John, don't get involved in this. You don't understand." "Oh, I understand plenty," he shot back, his voice edged with the same steel I remembered from childhood arguments he never lost. Officer Ramirez stepped in smoothly. "Mr. Wardell, we've confirmed you're listed as co-trustee on your sister's living trust. Can you verify that?" Jonathan nodded without hesitation. "Yes. We set it up 3 weeks ago. Jessica and I signed everything together. The house, savings, all of it's in there. Nothing can move without both of us signing." Donna opened her folder and slid a copy across the table for the officers. "Verified with our records this morning." Tyler's face drained of color. "You've got to be kidding me." Melissa's voice cracked as she turned to me. You did this behind my back?" I held her stare. "No, Melissa. I did this to protect myself. You made it necessary." The silence in the room was sharp. Customers in the lobby shifted uncomfortably, pretending not to eavesdrop but catching every word. Angela hovered near the teller line, her hand resting on the counter, ready if Donna gave another signal. Melissa tried to regroup, forcing her voice into something that sounded reasonable. "Jess, listen. We were only trying to help. You're tired. You've got too much on your plate. We were looking out for you." Jonathan barked a laugh, dry and humorless. "Looking out for her? By dragging her into a bank with forged documents? That's not looking out, that's exploitation." Ramirez leaned in, his pen scratching across the notepad. "Just for the record, Mr. Wardell, you're confirming the trust is valid and active?" "Yes," Jonathan said. "I keep a copy at home, and I reviewed it this morning. You want the binder. I'll get it." Donna nodded. "No need. We already pulled confirmation." Melissa's face crumpled, then twisted into anger. "You always thought you were better than me, John. Always running the show, always judging me, and now you've poisoned Jessica against her own family." I cut in, steady. "No one poisoned me. You did that yourself when you shoved papers under my nose and told me not to think." Tyler's hand curled into a fist on the table. "This is a damn circus. We're leaving." Ramirez's voice was low, but sharp. "You're not leaving. You're detained pending further investigation." Tyler froze, his eyes narrowing. Melissa looked at him desperately, but his face was hard stone now. Jonathan shifted closer to me, lowering his voice. Jess, you don't have to say anything else. I'll handle this. I shook my head. I can handle it. I've handled worse. For the first time all day, he gave me a small smile. Yeah, you always could. Donna laid out the situation with crisp precision. Here's where we stand. The fraudulent documents will be logged. Recordings and video have been preserved. Law enforcement has confirmed probable cause for financial exploitation. Miss Wardell retains full control, with her co-trustee's authority reinforcing it. Nothing moves without both signatures. Melissa's lip trembled. She tried one last angle, softer now. Jess, I'm your sister. I love you. You can't just cut me out. I met her plea head on. Love doesn't look like threats. Love doesn't leave bruises. You wanted control, not family. Ender 4. Jonathan put a hand on my shoulder. She's right, Melissa. You crossed a line. Tyler muttered, This is insane, but nobody gave him the dignity of a response. Officer Lee stepped forward. We'll be transporting both of you to the station for formal statements. You'll have the chance to call a lawyer there. Melissa let out a harsh laugh, more broken than amused. A lawyer? You're treating us like criminals. Ramirez didn't blink. That's because you committed a crime. End quote. The guard opened the main latch with a quiet click, preparing for their exit. Customers shifted aside, eyes following the scene with that mix of curiosity and discomfort strangers always have when family drama spills into public. Jonathan gave Donna a nod. Thank you. You probably saved my sister's future today. Donna smiled faintly. She saved it herself. I just gave her space to do it. I felt my throat tighten, but I held it steady. She's right. Oh. Melissa turned toward me one last time, her voice trembling with something between rage and despair. You'll regret this, Jess. You'll regret turning your back on me. I straightened, my voice clear. No, I regret letting it get this far. Ramirez signaled, and Lee guided them toward the door. Tyler walked stiff, jaw clenched. Melissa stumbled once, catching herself, her face blotched with anger and humiliation. The branch grew quieter as the door closed behind them, the hum of normal banking noise slowly returning. The tension that had filled every corner eased, but the weight of what had just happened didn't vanish. Jonathan let out a long breath. Jess, you did good. You held your ground. I gave him a small smile. You think I spent all those years in uniform learning to fold? He chuckled, shaking his head. No. You were always the one who stood the tallest. Donna gathered the documents into a neat stack, sliding them into a folder marked Hold. She looked at me squarely. We'll keep these under lock until the investigation is complete. You're covered. Angela stepped closer, her voice low but warm. You handled that like a pro. Most people would have fallen apart. I shook my head. I just did what needed to be done. Jonathan clapped me lightly on the shoulder. That's the soldier in you talking. I know. The office hummed with a different kind of quiet, now calmer, steadier, anchored by the knowledge that the worst of it had passed. But the weight of betrayal lingered, hanging in the corners like smoke after a fire. The door clanged shut behind Melissa and Tyler as the guard and Officer Lee guided them down the hall. The lobby went quiet for a few beats, the way a room does after a sudden storm. Customers pretended to refocus on slips and receipts, but every eye tracked the scene out of the corners. Jonathan stayed close at my side, arms crossed, jaw set. I could tell he was trying to keep his anger in check, but his shoulders were still stiff with tension. Donna kept her pace measured, stacking paperwork and logging details like it was just another case file. Through the glass, I saw Melissa sink into a lobby chair. Her hands twisted together, fingers white at the knuckles. Tyler paced in a tight line, muttering under his breath. He stopped only when Officer Lee gestured him back down with the kind of authority no one wanted to test. Ramirez stepped back into the office with a small folder. They're contained for now. Let's finish the record while we have them calm. Donna slid a printed sheet across to me. Summary of today's event, initial notes. You don't have to sign now, but it helps to have a baseline statement. I skimmed the page. Every line matched what had happened, the threats, the forged notary, the pressure. I signed it without hesitation. Through the glass, Tyler slammed his hands down on his knees, His voice carried enough that even customers near the ATM winced. This is bull. We were helping her. Helping. Melissa leaned toward him, her voice shaking but quieter. Stop. You're making it worse. He turned on her, eyes blazing. Making it worse? You're the one who dragged me into this mess with your bright idea, your fake notary friend, your plan to push her into signing. Her face snapped toward him, pale and tight. Don't you dare put this on me. You were the one yelling at her, threatening her in front of the bank staff. Who do you think they're going to blame? Their voices climbed, overlapping, until Officer Lee stepped in between them. Sit, both of you. Her tone was calm steel, no room for argument. Tyler dropped back into the chair, muttering curses. Melissa pressed her palms against her face, shoulders shaking. Jonathan shook his head, watching. They're already turning on each other. Pressure breaks people, I said quietly. Always has. Donna jotted something in her notes without looking up. It'll make the report easier. Less denial when they're contradicting each other in plain view. Melissa's voice carried again. Higher now, desperate. Jess set us up. She's been plotting this. Jonathan too. They wanted us out of the way so they could control everything. I didn't move, didn't raise my voice. The trust isn't about control. It's about safety. You made yourself the threat. Melissa shot up from her chair, pointing through the glass wall at me. You'll regret this, Jess. You'll regret turning on your own sister. Ramirez opened the office door, his voice firm. Sit down, Mrs. Grant. Last warning. The heat in her face drained to gray. She sat, trembling, muttering under her breath. Tyler leaned back, sneering. She thinks she's a hero now. She thinks she can use her army background to boss us around. Newsflash, Jess, you're not on deployment. You're just an aging vet with too much pride. Jonathan was halfway out of his chair before I stopped him with a hand. My voice stayed even. Better pride than fraud. Donna's lips pressed together like she was swallowing back a sharp reply. Ramirez scribbled notes quickly, eyes narrowing. Melissa finally cracked, her voice breaking into sobs. We just wanted security. We're drowning, Jess. Bills, debt, everything. You've always had it together, and we just thought if you shared a little, it would fix things. Tears streaked her face, her mascara smudging into messy shadows. But even through the crying, her words stumbled on themselves. She wasn't apologizing. She was just justifying. I kept my tone level. You could have asked for help. You could have told the truth. But you tried to take everything behind my back. That's not desperation. That's betrayal. Jonathan let out a sharp breath, shaking his head. You two don't even realize how far you went. Fraud isn't a slip-up. It's a crime. Tyler exploded again, slamming the arm of his chair. Enough with the lectures. We don't need family sermons. We need a lawyer. Ramirez closed his notebook. You'll have that chance. At the station. Oh. Melissa sobbed harder, her words tumbling. Jess, please, don't let them do this. You know me. I'm your sister. We grew up together. You can't just watch them take us away. Her words twisted in my chest, but I stayed steady. You're my sister, not my target. But today, you made me yours. The silence that followed was heavy. Even Tyler shut his mouth. Donna turned to Ramirez. You've got enough? He nodded. Plenty. He gestured to the guard. Prep for transport. Oh, what? The guard moved to unlock the side exit that led directly to the patrol cars. Customers shuffled out of the way, quiet but watching. Melissa's crying turned into soft whimpers. Tyler sat stiff, jowl locked, eyes dark. Jonathan stood tall beside me, his voice low. They'll answer for this now. I nodded once. Finally. The officers coordinated calmly, their professionalism smoothing over the chaos. Lee gathered the files. Ramirez secured the recorder. Donna closed the office door behind us, her expression composed, her movements neat. Melissa's sobs filled the lobby as they stood her up. Tyler refused to look at anyone, walking stiffly with his hands clenched into fists. The guard held the door, and the officers guided them outside. The branch breathed again once they were gone, the quiet hum of normal business resuming like the world hadn't just tilted on its axis. But inside, every customer and every staff member knew they had witnessed something raw. A family tearing itself apart under the bright lights of truth. Jonathan placed a steadying hand on my shoulder. Let's get you home. We've got work to do there too. I exhaled slowly, feeling both the weight and the release of the moment. The collapse of Melissa and Tyler wasn't loud in the end. It was messy, desperate, inevitable. And it was done in plain sight. The house felt different the second we walked back inside. It wasn't the same place I had left that morning, heavy with dread and uncertainty. Now, every corner carried the weight of what had just happened, but it also felt like ground I had reclaimed. Jonathan closed the front door behind us and locked it, then immediately started unpacking the small tool bag he always kept in his truck. "First things first," he said, pulling out a set of heavy-duty locks. "We're changing every one of these today." I nodded, slipping off my jacket. "Good. They still have keys. I don't want to give them a chance to show up uninvited." He didn't waste time. The sound of his drill echoed through the hallway as he removed the old lock from the front door. I filled the kettle in the kitchen and set it on the stove, the whistle of the gas flame snapping alive. The normalcy of it grounded me. When he finished the front door, Jonathan moved to the back. "We'll do the side door too. Then I'll put a camera over the porch. You'll be covered from every angle." The kettle whistled. I poured tea into 2 mugs, brought one over, and set it on the counter near him. "Thanks," I said quietly. He took a sip, wiping his forehead with the back of his hand. "Jess, I should have been paying closer attention. Melissa's been circling for months. I should have stepped in sooner." I shook my head. "You stepped in exactly when I needed you. And I handled myself before that. You don't need to carry it." He gave me a look, the kind only an older brother can give, part pride and part guilt. "Still, you shouldn't have had to fight this battle alone." I leaned against the counter, the tea warm in my hands. "I didn't. Donna was there, Angela too, even the guard. It wasn't just me." Jonathan screwed the last plate into the new lock, testing it twice before standing back. "Yeah, but they're not family, not like me." I smiled faintly. Sometimes strangers act more like family than blood does. He didn't argue. He just set the old lock aside and grabbed his ladder. "Let's get that camera up." While he worked on the porch, I sat at the dining table with a blank sheet of paper in front of me. The pen felt heavier than it should have. Words were always harder when they were meant for someone who had cut so deep. I wrote slowly, block letters that couldn't be mistaken. "Melissa, I love you. I want you to get help. But you cannot come to my house. You cannot touch my money. You cannot decide for me. If you change, we can talk. If you try again, I will call the police again. Jessica." I folded it neatly, slid it into an envelope, and set it on the table. Jonathan came back in, wiping his hands. He saw the envelope and raised an eyebrow. "Letter?" I nodded. "Not for sending, just for me. To make the line clear." He gave a short nod of approval. "That's good. Boundaries on paper are harder to twist." "Oh?" We sat for a while, the hum of the refrigerator and the faint creak of the old house filling the silence. "Finally," he said, "you know this isn't over. They'll try to spin it. Lawyers, excuses, whatever. But the trust holds. You're solid." "I know," I said. "But even if the law handles them, the part that hurts isn't the paperwork. It's realizing my own sister saw me as a mark." Jonathan's jaw tightened. "That's on her, not on you." I sipped my tea. "Still feels like a loss." "No." The porch light flicked on as the new camera powered up. Jonathan checked his phone, nodding in satisfaction. "You've got live feed now. I'll get the app set up on your phone. Anytime someone walks up, you'll see it." "Good," I said. "I want to know before anyone crosses that line again." Later, we sat at the same kitchen table where my morning had started. The list I'd scribbled before bread, soap, bank was still sitting there, crumpled at the corner. I smoothed it out and looked at the word bank written in heavy strokes. Jonathan followed my gaze. "Hell of a trip to the bank, huh?" I let out a dry laugh. "Yeah. Routine errand, right?" He chuckled, but the humor faded quickly. "Jess, you've been carrying yourself like a soldier since day one. But don't think you've got to keep the armor on all the time. You can breathe now." I looked at him, really looked, and saw the brother who had always tried to shield me when we were kids. "I'll breathe," I said softly. "But I'm not taking off the armor. Not anymore." The clock ticked steadily on the wall. Outside, the wind rattled the trees in the yard we'd played in as kids. Inside, the house felt tighter, safer. Jonathan stood and started making a list on a yellow pad. New passcodes, mail forwarding stopped, utilities notified. I'll call the locksmith tomorrow for the garage. I raised an eyebrow. You're worse than me with checklists. N to Brate, guess it runs in the family, he said, smirking. I folded the letter again, slid it into a drawer, and shut it firmly. That drawer had become my new boundary line. It wasn't about Melissa anymore, it was about me deciding what crossed into my life and what didn't. The kettle sat quiet now, the mugs half empty. Jonathan looked at me with that steady expression he'd always had in crises. You good? I nodded once. Yeah, I'm good. The truth was, good didn't mean untouched. It didn't mean unharmed. It meant standing in my own house, with new locks, new lines drawn, and the strength to keep them. The night stretched around us, steady and unbroken. For the first time in weeks, the house didn't feel like a trap. It felt like mine again. The morning after, the house was quiet in a way that felt earned. Sunlight stretched across the living room floor, hitting the new locks Jonathan had installed like they were medals pinned on the door. I sat at the dining table with a fresh sheet of paper, not to write another letter to Melissa, but to write something I hadn't done in years, an after-action report. Old habits die hard, and in the Army, reflection wasn't optional. You reviewed the mission, identified what worked, what failed, and how to secure the next objective. I wrote the header in block letters. After action review, Clearwater Bank incident. The first section came easily. Mission objective. Maintain personal and financial control under duress. Outcome. Successful. Supporting assets. Donna Whitaker, bank manager. Angela Ruiz, teller. Officer Ramirez. Officer Lee. Jonathan Wardell, co-trustee. The next line made my pen pause. Threats. Melissa Grant, sister. Tyler Grant, brother-in-law. Method. Psychological pressure, physical intimidation, fraudulent documentation. It felt cold putting their names down like that, stripped of family ties and reduced to roles in a failed operation. But that's what they had become. Threats, not siblings. I kept writing. Strengths. Calm demeanor maintained, note delivered successfully, use of concealed recorder effective. Weaknesses. Delayed recognition of Melissa's intent, reliance on trust in family ties longer than warranted. I set the pen down for a second, staring at that last line. It was the truth, and it stung. Jonathan came in from the porch, his phone still in hand from checking the new camera feed. You writing your diary? He teased lightly. After action report, I said, sliding the paper toward him. He skimmed it, a grin tugging at the corner of his mouth. Only you would turn a family meltdown into a field report. Helps me process, I said simply. He handed it back. Looks solid. Only thing missing is your conclusion. I nodded, adding the final section. Lessons learned. Family does not excuse betrayal. Boundaries protect love. Documentation and preparation prevent exploitation. Maintain vigilance. The last line I wrote in all caps. Safe does not hurt, and I will never sign myself away. I underlined it twice, then set the pen down. Jonathan leaned against the counter, arms crossed. That last part, safe does not hurt. That's a good one. You should frame it. Maybe I will, I said, folding the page and slipping it into the same drawer as Melissa's letter. One was a boundary, the other a blueprint. Together, they marked where I stood now. The phone rang mid-morning. It was Officer Ramirez. He kept his voice professional, but I could hear the undercurrent of reassurance. Charges were being filed for attempted financial exploitation and forgery. APS was involved, and the DA would review within the week. Melissa and Tyler were out on a conditional release but restricted from contacting me. Patrol cars would pass the house for the next few days. I thanked him, wrote the details in my notebook, and hung up. Jonathan raised an eyebrow. So what's the verdict? They'll face it in court. No contact allowed. Good, he said firmly. They earned it. I poured us both fresh coffee and sat back down. The bitterness of it fit the mood, grounding me in the moment. Jonathan tapped the table lightly. So what now? Now, I said, I live my life. On my terms. It sounded simple, but it felt like reclaiming a battlefield after the smoke cleared. By afternoon, I walked through every room of the house, double-checking windows, doors, locks. Not because I didn't trust Jonathan's work, but because I needed to remind myself this was mine. Mine to protect. Mine to keep. In the bedroom, the box with my husband's tie pin sat on the dresser. I picked it up, running a thumb over the small hidden recorder inside. For weeks, I'd wondered if buying it was paranoia. Yesterday, it was proof. Proof that I wasn't crazy, that the danger was real, and that preparation saved me. Back in the kitchen, I found Jonathan scribbling another list: utilities to call, contacts to update, small maintenance tasks he wanted done. I laughed. "You're worse than a squad leader with those checklists." He shrugged. "Checklists work. Guess it runs in the family." We ate dinner at the table that night, just the two of us. No tension, no forced small talk, no eyes watching me for weakness. Just peace. The house wasn't perfect, but it was secure. Later, when Jonathan left, I walked him to the door. He hesitated on the porch. "You call me if they so much as drive by. Got it?" "Got it," I said. He gave me one last nod, then headed down the driveway. The porch light clicked on automatically, casting a clean circle of light where shadows used to creep. Inside, I sat with a fresh notebook and started writing again. Not reports this time, but plans. Plans for work, for the house, for things I'd put off because I was too busy surviving Melissa's constant interference. The trust was secure. The locks were new. The boundaries were drawn. When the night finally settled in, I turned off the lights and stood at the window overlooking the small garden my husband and I had planted years ago. The wind moved through the leaves, steady and calm. Melissa's words echoed faintly in my memory: accusations, pleas, threats, but they didn't shake me anymore. They just reminded me of the line I had drawn. Betrayal ends where boundaries begin. I whispered it once into the quiet house, like a final line in a mission debrief. Family doesn't excuse betrayal. Boundaries protect love. Then I added the promise that carried me through it all. Safe does not hurt, and I will never sign myself away. The house held steady around me, no longer a battlefield but a fortress. And for the first time in a long time, I felt at ease knowing I was the one standing guard. When the house finally went quiet, I sat back down at the same kitchen table where the day had started. The paper I'd written on earlier lay in the drawer, the locks were new, and the camera light blinked steady outside. For the first time in weeks, the air felt light enough to breathe without checking who was watching me. I thought about Melissa, my sister, but also the person who tried to strip me of everything I'd built. Blood doesn't erase betrayal, and family doesn't give anyone the right to cross boundaries. What matters is who respects you, who stands with you, and who keeps you safe. So I wrote one final line. Not for a court, not for Jonathan, not even for Melissa. I wrote it for myself. Safe does not hurt, and I will never sign myself away. Then I folded the paper, closed the drawer, and let the house be mine again.